What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be coming with a mock draft. And in this mock draft, we're going to be going through 1 through 32 picks with trades. And with that, let's get started. Number 1, we don't need to overthink. It's going to be Caleb Williams. He plays like he's Patrick Mahomes. He extends plays like every play is his last play. And that helps him a lot. And we knew this was coming. Since Justin Fields went away, we knew 100% they were taking Caleb Williams. On to the Commanders, I think they will take Drake May out of UNC. Now, when I compare him, I think a lot of Justin Herbert. He's big, he's tall, massive arm. But the only thing that's running against him, really, I would have to say, is he just makes stupid plays. He isn't thinking always. He has great football IQ where he knows if you pump fake where the linebacker's going to go. But he has problems with his footwork. But that is all coachable, and that's why I think he'll go in front of Jayden Daniels because he has more upside than Jayden Daniels. For the Patriots, I think they will take Jayden Daniels, who I was just speaking of, the Heisman winner himself. I think of him as Robert Griffin III a lot. He has a great rushing ability. He has a good arm. He is accurate, but I just think that Drake May has more upside. But if you're the Patriots, you can't be mad because you're going to get whoever falls, Drake May or Jayden Daniels. And next up for the Cardinals is Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, this guy is a great player. He's very explosive, great hands. He has a bigger frame than his dad, but is around the same weight, which is a little concerning for some scouts because if he gets one big hit, he could go down for the season. But great hands, great route running, great jump ball. This might be the greatest NFL wide receiver prospect we'll see for the next 10 years. And that's really it. And next up is number 5, where the number 5 pick belongs to the Chargers, but I'm projecting a trade where the Vikings move up into the 5th overall pick and select J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan for a quarterback. He reminds me of Alex Smith a little bit. He has that flashes. We didn't really see the ball in his hands too much out in Michigan, but he could still be very good, and we saw glimpses of him being an elite quarterback at Michigan. And that was just my first of many of trades. Next up is the Giants at pick number 6. I have them taking Malik Nabers out of LSU, wide receiver. He's big. He reminds me of a DJ Moore. Now, DJ Moore and him are explosive. But the only problem with this guy is sometimes on those quick screen passes, he might drop the ball and he just gets caught up in his head thinking about bigger things, and then that just leads him to drop the ball. But he is a great wide receiver. I think he's better than Odunze. And next up is the Titans at 7. And right now, I think this is a Titans' dream situation. You have to build around Will Levis, and that's why you're going to take Joe Alt. His dad was in the NFL, so he knows what it takes to get there. And now, this is one of the best offensive line prospects in the past couple years. And I think he will go top 10. I think this is a Titans' dream situation for the draft board to fall out. And next up is Quinion Mitchell to the Falcons. And this is a lockdown cornerback, Richard Sherman type. He's long, lengthy. He will knock out passes, intercept passes, and that's why I think this is a great cornerback in the CB1 in this class. And next up, we have the Bears taking Rome Odunze, and this is a wide receiver that's kind of like Mike Williams, where go throw up the 50-50 ball, the go routes, the fades, and there's a good chance that he comes down with the ball. And this is a guy out of Washington with the only concern is, will the quarterback he's going to have the same accuracy as Michael Penix to throw those back shoulder fades and all of that stuff, which is the only question. Next up we have the Jets at the 10th overall pick, and I think they will select Brock Bowers. He reminds me of a George Kittle. He's a physical guy. He'll hit you, he'll go out and torch you. And this is the reason that he's been getting all this hype for 2-3 years now, is because he is a great tight end, the best tight end prospect we've seen since Kyle Pitts, and he just looks like an overall great player. Next up is pick 11, which used to belong to the Minnesota Vikings, but because of the Chargers trade, now the Chargers will have this pick, and they will take Brian Thomas Jr., because they lost a bunch of wide receivers to the draft, and this is their time to take a wide receiver, and it would be pretty good to take their wide receiver now, give Justin Herbert some help, and I think that's the reason that this pick is going to happen. Next up, we have the Broncos, and I've been thinking about this, and I think Bo Nix will go to the Broncos. This is Sean Payton's Drew Brees, the guy that he always has wanted, and it would just really be that this is what Sean Payton wants, and I think he will get it because how he's not the best quarterback in the class, he will fall to them in the draft. Next up, we have the Raiders. I think they'll take Terron Arnold out of Alabama for the cornerback. Now, they are stacking up this defense, and I think their strategy is going to be show a little bit on the defense, or show a lot on the defense, and then just have your offense squeak out enough points to get you the win. And I think that's what this pick would do for them. A great cornerback out of Alabama, and should be shut down for years to come. Next up is Felice Hufanga, and this guy is very good as a tackle for the Saints. And the thing about the Saints is, if Derek Carr performs, there is a chance with this help with the defense, they could make a push at this division, which would be hard, but they did it last year, and now you're getting to a point where this guy could have been the person that when Derek Carr got sacked, it's not going to happen anymore. And if you're not thinking about Derek Carr, next year if they get a long-term quarterback, this is who it's going to be. Next up is the Colts at number 15. I think they take Cooper DeJean out of Iowa, cornerback. Now this guy is very versatile, great punt and kick returner out of Iowa, and great cornerback. And this is why he's going to get selected so high. And next up is a trade from the Seattle Seahawks going down to give that to the Eagles. And the Eagles will select Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Alabama. And the thing about this guy is he's a high motor. He'll get to the pass rusher. He will get to the pass thrower. And he can stop the run. And that's why I really like this guy out of Alabama. I think he'll be a great edge rusher for years to come. Next up is 17, and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's Dallas Turner's defensive teammate, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a very, very good cornerback out of the stacked Alabama defense. And with this guy, you're going to get a cornerback. He's not going to allow anything. And that's what you want out of a guy that you're taking with this high of a pick. Next up is the Bengals, and it's Xavier Worthy. Now, this guy would have been a early, mid-second rounder, and then he goes out and breaks the the 40-yard dash record. And that is huge for scouts because we saw what that did to John Ross. And I think the Bengals are going to go for another guy who breaks the record. Next up is the Rams. I have them taking a cornerback, Nate Wiggins, just to definitely just strengthen up this defense. Make sure that you're getting a better defense than you had last year. Maybe that's the guy who stopped Monroe St. Brown in that playoff game. Probably wouldn't be, but it could have been. Next up is the Steelers at 20, and they will take Troy Fantu. And this is another tackle where you're really just trying to set up for the future. Let Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren go to work back there. Then make your throw play actions on third down when you need to. Get to the old school football. This is what they're trying to build, I think. Next up is 21. We have the Dolphins, Oluwaseun. And this is really just trying to set up. We're giving Tua everything he needs. If he cannot perform this year and take us to the conference championship, or at least a Division 1, we don't want to pay him. We're going to get rid of him and draft someone new. And that's what it's going to come down to, and this is why that pick helps out for that. Next up is the Eagles. But because of the Seahawks trade, and this will now be the Seahawks draft pick, and they will take Jackson Powers Johnson. And the main reason they traded down is because they knew he would still be available on the board by the time that they went down. And they need a center pretty bad. And center's pretty important in the NFL. Some might argue one of the most important positions. And it just makes sense to get him and put him in there. Kenneth Walker might be very thrilled about this. Next up would be the Vikings pick. But because of that trade to get McCarthy, it will now be the Chargers pick, and they will take Latu. And this is really just saying, Khalil Mack will not be here forever. Let's get a guy in who can get mentored by him and can become in the next Khalil Mack. Next up is 24, the Dallas Cowboys. They take Junior Colson, linebacker. I think with him, it's just, there's so many guys left. Leighton Vander Esch retired from them this year, and they need a new guy to go in and at the linebacker position. It just makes sense to take him. Next up is the Packers at 25, and they will take J.C. Latham, offensive tackle. Give Jordan Love more time. Maybe he doesn't roll out and make that stupid play against the 49ers. Maybe they play in the conference championship. Probably not, but it could have happened, and that's why you've got to get a guy. David Bakhtiari left, and just replacement. Next up is Chop Robinson going to the Buccaneers, and he's a very good out of Penn State edge rusher. There's some pretty good Penn State edge rushers if you look into it, and it just makes sense to go to the Buccaneers. You need to be able to put pressure on Kirk Cousins, who just went to the Falcons. Makes sense, trying to win that division again. Next up is the Cardinals, and I think they'll take Amarius Mims, offensive tackle. I think you're just trying to get a guy who will go in and start and help Kyler Murray out, give him more time to throw to Marvin Harrison Jr., because I already knew that was going to happen, because this entire thing will be 100% correct. And you can check after the video is posted. Next up is my favorite NFL team, the Buffalo Bills. I wonder what they'll do. And what they're going to do is they're going to trade back with the Steelers. And what they're going to try and do is they're going to have 2 second-round picks. They're going to go after Ladd McConkey if he's still available on the board. And Xavier Leor. Can't think of fully his name. I don't know why I can't do that right now. I'm having a brain fart, and the Steelers are going to take Graham Barton, and it's just a guy who will help them throughout this entire thing, and that's really it for that one. Next up is the Lions at pick 29. They're going to select Darius Robinson, defensive lineman. He has to go in there, generate some pressure. I've been saying what if for some of these playoff scenarios. What if he's the one that stopped Christian McCaffrey from running it in for a touchdown in that conference championship game? Kick a field goal. Maybe Dan Campbell's decision changed. Probably not. But it could have happened. Next up is Tyler Gittin to the Ravens, an offensive tackle. Give Lamar a little bit more time. Let him, if that hole's open, the running game will be more dangerous with Derrick Henry. Make things easy on Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson for that read option, which we know is coming. And that's why this pick happens, and should be a pretty good pick. Next up is the 49ers. They're going to take TJ Tampa, cornerback. What if he's the one that was on MVS in the Super Bowl and intercepts it? Guarantee that wouldn't happen, but it could have. And that's where that is. And next up we have the Chiefs with the final pick of the NFL draft. I hope they never get the final pick of the first round again. So that would mean they win the Super Bowl. And never want that to happen again. And they're going to take a wide receiver, Keon Coleman. They were struggling with drops all of last year. And it makes sense, especially with the Rashid Rice. We don't know what's happening with him. So you're going to try and get another guy to go in and really just help out Patrick Mahomes like he needs any more help. Not like he's the best quarterback right now. Hopefully that changes next year. Josh Allen MVP 2025. Or 2024. Just watch it happen. And that's today's video. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I'll see you in my next video.